Binge the full weekend free over at patreon.com/inspired disorder.
What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
The Mitchells versus the Machines, a new animated film on Netflix from the creators and animators and people that brought us the Spider-Verse, or Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. This is a Sony animated production, and I gotta say that not only the Spider-Verse movie, which was a great movie, but also like a very unique way to animate stuff. You know, we're in a time where like 3D animation is like 30 years old almost at this point. I can't remember exactly when the first Toy Story came out, but I can't imagine we're far off from the 30-year anniversary of that. And it's, Pixar's done its thing, hasn't really evolved much. I mean, the animation's definitely gotten better over the years, but it wasn't until the Spider-Verse where it really felt like they found a new kind of style, a new style that really shows off, what you can do with the 3D animation. This one, slightly different from the Spider-Verse. The Spider-Verse really had more of a comic book aesthetic. Especially with how the colors were kind of overlapped in certain ways to kind of represent the, just how comics, the color's not always matching up, especially in like older comics. But gave it kind of a blurry effect in the Spider-Verse. This one, not quite the same thing. I mean, it's definitely 3D animation, but it has a lot of 2D flourishes. Almost has like Scott Pilgrim kind of look to it, like how Scott Pilgrim, which is live action, but it had a lot of like 3D animated flourishes to it. This one does a similar thing with 2D animated flourishes. Very similar to adding GIFs to a TikTok post or an Instagram stories where, you have a video, but then you're able to decorate it, including like, the face augmenting filters that they have. So it really is an animation style that fits with the current culture of what's going on with technology and social media. It's an interesting story. I mean, obviously, the title kind of clues you in that there's kind of some adventure going on. The Mitchells, this family, is the humanity's last hope against the machines that take over. It's a movie where it shows the creative potential of technology, where the main character, the daughter of the Mitchells family, is super into film editing, directing. She wants to be, I don't know if it said in the movie that she specifically wants to create movies or whatever. I guess she did do short films using her pug, which is adorable. Mongchi, I think, is the name of the pug, which I'm not sure if it's Mongchi. Mongchi is Korean for hammer, I believe. Also a band started by David Cho and Stevie Weeby. So I'm not sure if it's actually Mongchi. I was going to look it up to see what the dog's actual name is, but it sounds like it, and I hope it is. That would be an awesome name for the dog. Obviously, the pug is there's a lot of funny moments that happen with the pug that directly tie into the Mitchell's success against fighting the machines. But it's also not only showing the creative potential and the advantages of technology, but obviously showing the potential negative sides of technology, which is interesting that this story came from a technology company in Sony, where the company that it portrays, which I can't remember the name of it, PAL, I think is the company name in this movie. PAL is kind of like an Apple/Google type of a company, where, the CEO, played by Eric Andre, is announcing the new evolution of their, what was a phone, is now a robot, like assistant kind of a thing. And of course, instantaneously, as he's announcing during his keynote speech, where he's talking about the new technology, what's next, which is a very Apple type of thing, or at least Apple has always been known to do those keynote speeches the best. Instantaneously, the robots kind of start to fight back, and they have it's super fun. And of course, there's also these Mitchells. The daughter's about to go to college. The dad, in an effort to bond with his daughter, offers to or comes up with the idea to drive her to school, to go on a cross-country road trip with the family, one last trip before she goes to college. And of course, the daughter is so over it. But yeah, it's so the Mitchells, it's a husband wife. The dad is played by Danny McBride. Maya Rudolph is the mom. The one thing I love this movie overall. I highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun, a fun like comedy, family comedy, adventure kind of a movie. The themes are very interesting, very poignant, and kind of what our potential reality is in some ways could be. But the one thing that really took me out, which I really didn't like, is the person they cast to voice the son, the boy in the Mitchells family, is clearly an older dude trying to do a young boy's voice. The kid's like supposed to be like 8 years old or something, but it's clearly an older dude. Apparently, it's the co-writer of this movie it plays, and that voice just takes me out. It's so clearly an older person playing this young child, and it just never fits. Thankfully, he's not necessarily the biggest part of the movie. It's not like the movie centers around him, but every time that character speaks in this movie, I get taken out. It just sounds so. And even Danny McBride's voice, like his. First off, not the greatest acting, I would say, but also just to hear his voice in like a paternal type of a setting, to be framed as a voice of a caring father is kind of a juxtaposition to the characters Danny McBride normally plays in films. So to hear his voice, it was nice to kind of hear new voices, because a lot of animated stuff tends to use a lot of similar voice actors, it seems like. So I can appreciate the fact that they kind of mixed it up a bit, but yeah, the Danny McBride voice didn't 100%. It was like, instead of being 100% great for that role, I would say it's like 80%. But the person that does the kid's voice, Michael Rianda, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, didn't work. I mean, it's clearly casting on his own, like, oh, I want to put myself, and apparently he does other animated stuff, does voice work for other animated stuff on Disney. But for whatever, it took me out. Didn't like it. But the movie itself, I thought, was a lot of fun. If you can get past any time the kid speaks, like, why is this? It really takes me out, because it doesn't sound at all in any way like a child's voice. It's the same as if when you hear children try to do old people voice, it's clearly just as noticeable and does not fit. But other than that, it was a lot of fun. Just a lot of fun adventure. They have like this kind of ego battle with their neighbors. Their neighbors are like kind of that Instagram family that live this perfect life on Instagram, but then when you meet them in real life, they're also kind of that they kind of live up to their Instagram feed in a lot of ways. Which is interesting. It's kind of that keeping up with the Joneses kind of a thing, but instead of consuming stuff, it's like living some kind of perfect social media life. So that was interesting. There's a scene towards the end. All of these characters kind of have their own thing. They all play a part in the success of this family when fighting the machines, which is nice. It's kind of got like that what's the God, what's the animated Pixar movie that's the family? The Incredibles? Is that it? For some reason, that doesn't sound right, but you know what I'm talking about. The Pixar superhero family movies. They did 2 of them. Kind of has that feel a little bit. They're not super. They don't have superpowers, but definitely a lot of the things that they do are superhuman. But there's a scene where the mom flips the switch. You know, you get that kind of that mom strength power stuff. You know, where like the mom lifting a car off of a baby who's trapped under it, kind of a thing. And it's she turns into Beatrix Kiddo from Kill Bill. There's they even use the Kill Bill soundtrack or sound cue for those moments when she turns into a badass, which is an amazing scene. I mean, it's anytime you see a character, for me, anytime I see a character that's kind of like subdued and more of a pacifist, when they flip that switch in a movie and they turn into a badass is a moment in film that I really enjoy. You know, because I'm kind of a passive guy. I let a lot of things go. I try not to let a lot of things affect me too much. But when there is a thing, you know, there are moments where things will dig in deep, and in those moments, I can feel that switch flip, almost like Jim Carrey's character in Me, Myself, and Irene. I start hearing that drum solo, that offbeat, you know, grimy drum solo, and I turn into Hank. So it's fun when the mom flips that switch and turns into a badass. You know, there's the world, the overall animation is amazing. The writing's amazing. There's these 2 robots that are like broken, and they end up being allies to the Mitchells. They're funny. It's got a lot of humor in the movie. Overall, it's a really fun adventure family movie. Yeah, highly recommend it. It's so easy to recommend. I mean, when the only thing is like some of the voice acting I didn't really like, primarily one character. When that's my only big gripe, it's not a big gripe. Because overall, I really enjoyed the movie. It's a lot of fun. The animation style is amazing. The flourishes of 2D kind of additions that they add to it are amazing. So I highly recommend it. Check it out. It's on Netflix. The Mitchells versus the Machines. Do yourself a favor and get yourself Kindle Unlimited. Go through my link, inspireddisorder.com/Kindle, to get yourself unlimited books. That's right, unlimited reading, listening on any device when you sign up now for Kindle Unlimited. Go through my link and sign up. inspireddisorder.com/Kindle for your free trial. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Binge the full week ad-free over at patreon.com/inspireddisorder. Buy Ray Taylor Show merch over at inspireddisorder.com, and follow the show on Instagram at Ray Taylor Show. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!